there's a subtle yet really important issue around perception, and particularly perception of edges. Human perception is really good at finding edges and working with edges. The sharper the edge, the better it is. One of the reasons why people love binary decisions, yes, no, true, false, political ones like left versus right. These are, me versus we. These are easy binary edges that we can tell. But the real world often has a much more scalar, subtler view of edges. And sometimes when there are no edges, we can't see them, particularly when those edges are very slow moving. For example, population changes are subtle. They're taking place over long periods of time. There's a huge difference, for example, between weather, which has lots of edges, in fact it's almost defined as having edges. There is a change from one to another, versus climate, which is much slower change, but much more inexorable. We can't adapt to climate change in the way that we can adapt so easily to weather, because when climate change happens, we can't sense it in the real time, and so all of our mechanisms for working with change don't work. So we need to find some kind of edge, and one of the ways we do that is by manufacturing edges. Think of an extreme case of a whiteout, of a situation where you're in a snowstorm and there is nothing but white. People go crazy under those circumstances because there's no edge at all. So what we do is we introduce an edge, such as a value, a feeling, something that will guide feelings rather than beliefs, that we produce something around which change can coalesce. When something matches that edge, that value, we can say that's the direction we want to go in the midst of the turmoil, in the midst of all the possibilities, we have an edge that we can work with. If we don't have edges of that kind, edges that are based on values, it's very difficult to work with very large scale, very slow moving change. So what are the values that matter to you? What are the human values that pretty much everyone shares? There are a few of them. Fairness, for example, is a classic one. So what are these edges that support working with very large scale change? Look for them, because those are the ones that we're going to need as we move forward into absolutely vast change.